Hello viewers, in this video we are going to see how you can make multi-guards authentication in Laravel 8. We will see the way you can make this step by step. We authenticate users with separated tables, users, admins and doctors table. As you can see in resources views folder, we have only welcome blade PHP file. We need to install basic Laravel Auth UI. Make sure your XAMPP is running. Navigate to phpMyAdmin and create new database and rename to my_Laravel 8_multi-guards. Once database created, copy its name and go to .env file and update db_database variable to my_Laravel 8_multi-guards. Then save the file. Open terminal and run php artisan serve command. As you can see, we are on Laravel 8. But we don't have login and register links here. By looking in our controllers directory, we have only controller PHP file which is controller provided by Laravel. So, go to Google and search for Laravel UI. Then click on GitHub page. Here is the installation guidance for this. Back to Visual Studio Code and run Composer require Laravel/UI command in terminal. Then after this, run php artisan UI bootstrap --auth command. As you can see, the authentication scaffolding has been generated successfully, but if you need better looking login and register layout you may run the above command to compile fresh scaffolding. So, when authentication scaffolding generated, we see that there is a new auth controller files inside app controllers directory. These files used in login, register, and reset password functions. If we refresh this page, you see the login and register links appear on top right of page. This is a default login page. And then this is a register page. In login and register process, the login form will use this login controller. While register form will use this register controller. In our database, we don't have any table on it. We need users table by default. As you can see in database migration folder, we have the users table schema looks like this. Now go to terminal and run php artisan migrate command. As you can see, we have now users table inside our database. This table is empty. Now, we can register new user. By using this form. Let's add new user. As you can see, New user created and redirected to home page. By looking in users table, we see this new registered user. Let's log out now. Then log in with this user credentials. As you can see, this user redirected to home if email and password matches to the records inside users table. Friends, now you see that login and register work perfectly. For the purpose of this tutorial, we are going to redirect authenticated user to the home page with the user prefix like this. To do that, let's create our own controller by entering php artisan make :controller user /UserController command in terminal. This is our generated user controller file. Go to web PHP file. Then import our new user controller we have created on this web PHP file. This is the default home root for authenticated user. As you can see, it use home controller, but for us we don't need this anymore. Just comment home root. Let's create root prefix group for user. Inside this group, we will create other two root middleware groups. This group middleware will protect roots using guest middleware. And this group middleware will protect roots with auth middleware. Let's see those middlewares. As you see in kernel PHP file, we see those middlewares, auth and guest middlewares. For auth middleware, we have authenticate PHP file. This will redirect an unauthenticated user to the specific login root by checking prefix. If is normal user, this will return user login root. If is admin, this will return admin login root. And if is doctor, this will return doctor login root. And for guest middleware, we have redirect if authenticated PHP. This one will redirect an authenticated user to a specific home root by checking guard name. For example, if authenticated user is a normal user, this will redirect him or to user home root. If authenticated user is admin, this will redirect him to admin home root. And if authenticated user is doctor, this will redirect him or her to doctor home root. Let's continue. Create normal user root view for login, register and home pages. Let's create these views blade files. Now, design login page by using Bootstrap classes. Our login page form will contains email and password input fields. Let's also design register page. This register page form will contains name, email, password and confirm password input fields. So, our user login and register page design have been completed. Let's show something. If you look the URL of this login and register links, they are using the default user routes. But we need to use our new user routes. Now, go to Welcome Blade file and update login and register links. Let's see. If we click on login link, we go to our new login view. And also if we click on register link, we go to our new register view. Let's add some links on these forms. Now, our login and register form layout are ready to use. Back to web PHP file. As you can see, we have now normal user URLs which have user prefix. We have to update the following files. On Authenticate PHP file, we have to change this login root to the new root name. Also on Redirect if authenticated PHP file, we have to change this return redirection the new home root of normal user. This is the new home root for normal user. Back to web PHP file. Let's add post root for create new user. Here, we will use our UserController class file. Then use this name root to the register form action attribute. Don't forget to add CSRF to this form. Let's make this create method in UserController class. But before continue, don't forget to import this on this controller. Just import user model. And import this auth facade here. Now back to create method. Let's start validating inputs. Name must be required. Email must be required, be an email format and unique into users table in email column. Password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters. Confirm password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters and same to the password value. So, let's display these validation errors on register form. We are going to add error spans on this form that will display validation errors under each field. Let's add this old function that will help us to hold last entered value on each field. Now, add error spans under each input field. Let's test. As you can see, validation errors appear under each input field. Let's continue. If validation success, let's insert new user into users table. If user inserted successfully, let's display success message on register page. But if not inserted, let's display error message on register page. To show success and error messages, we have to add the following if conditions on this page. Let's test. As you can see, we have success message that show us the new user has been successfully registered. If we look into users table, we see new registered user. Now, our user registration process done. Let's make login process too. Back to web PHP file and add new post route for checking login user. Now, add this name route name to login form action attribute. Don't forget to add CSRF to this form. Let's make check method in UserController class. Firstly, validate inputs. Email must be required, be in email format and exists in users table. Password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters. Let's display these validation errors on login form. Add error spans that will display validation errors on under each input field. Let's test. As you can see, we have validation errors displayed under each input field. If we try to enter no registered email address, we see the message that tell us that the selected email is invalid, which means that the email is not exists in users table. Let's change this validation message. As you can see, the validation error message has been updated. Let's enter exists email address. No error displayed now. Let's turn off autocomplete on this form. This is before. And this is after, no autocomplete appears. Let's continue. If validation success, let's check entered user email and password. You can also specify guard name on this attempt if you want. Because users table use WebGuard, we don't need to specify guard name here, this will work too. So, if entered email and password matches to the registered user in users table, we redirected to user home root. If not, redirected back to login page with error message. Let's show this fail message on login page. Just add this if condition here. Let's test. If we enter email not exists in users table, we see the message that tells us the entered email is not exists in users table. Let's use exits email. No error appears. If we enter wrong password, we see the error message that tells us there is incorrect credentials. As you can see, this user redirected to home root with the user prefix. Let's design this user home page. We will use Bootstrap classes to design this page. Let's add table to display logged username and email. If we refresh page, we see the logged username and email displayed into table. Let's add logout link here. Add new post root for logout here into this middleware group. Now, add this anchor tag for logout link here. This form must be hidden on page. Then make this logout method inside UserController class. Let's test. Now we have logout link here. If we click on logout link, nothing happened. Let's see the problem. we didn't add ID attribute to this form. Let's test again. If we click on Logout link, we logged out and redirected to index page. Let's log in with other user. Now, we are on new user home page. If we try to access user register page when we already logged in, this will redirected back to home page, which is good. And if we try to access user login page when we already logged in, this will redirected also to home page. Let's log out. If we try to access home when we don't logged in, this will redirect us to login page, which is good. Let's log in. Now we are on home page. If we try to go back by using browser back button, we back to login page, which is not good. How to prevent going back to login page by using browser button when we already logged in? Just create new middleware by entering PHP artisan make :middleware prevent backhistory command in terminal. This will generate prevent backhistory PHP file inside middleware directory. Now, let's add the following codes inside this handle function. Register this middleware in kernel PHP file. Let's use this middleware to our roots. Add this as a second middleware to the guest and auth middlewares. Let's test. Log out now. Then log in again. Now we are on home page. If we try to go back to login page, this will not redirect us to login page because we already logged in. That is why we still on home page, which is fine. Let's log out now. If we try to go back to home page, this will redirect us to login page because we already logged out, which is good. Friends, as you can see, the login and register process of this normal user has completely done. One thing I can show you here is that you can specify a guard name to every function you made. Let's see. On this guest middleware you can specify a guard name like this. And also you can specify guard name on this auth middleware like this. Also in UserController you can specify a guard name like this. And also on displaying logged user info on Blade you can specify guard name like this. Let's see if works or not. Now check login function. Now check logout function. Friends, you see that everything works perfectly. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial we are going to make multi-guards authentication. By looking into database, we have only users table for normal users. This means we use web guards to authenticate these users. Now let's add separated admins table for admin. Make admin model by entering PHP artisan make :model admin-m in terminal. Now we have admin model here. This model will have the same structure to the user model. And also we have generated admin's migration file. For admin model, just copy user model content and paste into admin model. Then change class name to admin. Please, don't forget to import these things here that why I copied and paste like this. For our admins table structure, will be the same to users table but with little changes. Let's copy this and paste to admin's schema. Then add phone column to this table. Add this column name to admin model fiable array. Now let's run PHP artisan migrate command. As you can see, we have now admins table in our database. For admin, we are going to insert default admin user manually. It is no need to make admin registration process in this tutorial. Now we have default admin. Let's copy hashed password from one of users table user. Friends, we have now an admin. Now, to add new guard, we have to go to config auth PHP file. Here you will find the way you can add your guard. Let's add admin guard, just follow the steps. Now, we are ready to use our admin guard. Back to web PHP file. We are going to add new admin root prefix group for admin users. Also, this group will have two root middleware groups inside it. As you can see, we specify guard name on this guest middleware. The same to this auth middleware. Let's create root views for login and home of admin user. We need only login and home views on admin. Now, create those views blade files. Let's design login page by using Bootstrap classes. This form will have email and password input fields. Let's test. If we try to get admin login page, we are now have this login page layout. Now, our admin login form is ready to use. Back to web PHP file. Now, let's create admin controller by entering PHP artisan make :controller admin controller command in terminal. Let's import admin controller here. Don't forget to update authenticate PHP and redirect if authenticated PHP files by adding this admin roots. For this, we have to check if root have admin prefix, then return admin login root. And here, we check if a guard is an admin guard, then redirect this user to admin home root. Back to web PHP file and add post root for checking login admin. Now, use this name root to the admin login form action attribute. Don't forget to add CSRF to this form. Then create check method inside admin controller class. Again, remember to import admin model and auth facade on this controller. Now, validate inputs. Email must be required, be in email format and exists in admins table. Password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters. Let's add errors spans on admin login that will display validation errors. Let's test. As you can see, the validation errors displayed under each input field. If I enter the email not exists in admins table, we have this message that show us the selected email is invalid, which means the email is not exists. Let's change this validation error message. Let's see the results. As you can see, the message has been changed. But if we enter exists email, we don't have any error message for this. Let's continue. Here we check the entered email and password of this user. As you see, we specify guard name here. If matches to the records in admins table, we redirect this user to the admin home root. Otherwise, return this user to the admin login page with error message. Let's add if condition on admin login page that will display error message when login process failed. Now, let's test. Let's enter exists admin email and wrong password. We have this error message. Let's enter real exists email and password of admin. As you can see, we redirected to the admin home page. Let's design this admin home layout. Here we will use Bootstrap classes to design this page. Then add table that will display logged admin info. As you see, we specify guard name here. Let's test. If we refresh this page, now we have admin info displayed into table. Let's add logout link here. Back to web PHP file and add new post root for logout inside this middleware root group. Now, add logout anchor tag in our table. Let's make this logout method in admin controller class. Also, we specify guard name here. Let's test. If we click on logout link, we logged out from admin dashboard. Let's log in again to show something. If we want to back by using this browser back button, we back to the login page, which is not good. How to prevent going back to login page when we already logged in? Just add prevent back history middleware on these two root groups. Let's test. Now log in again. If we try to go back by using this browser back button, we still on admin home page instead of going back to admin login page because we already logged in. And if we click on logout and try to go back by using again this browser back button, we redirected to admin login page instead of going to admin home page. Friends, as you can see, our admin login process has been completely done. We can also add more tables for authenticate users. We create users table for normal users and admins table for admin, which means we have two guards, web guard and admin guard. Let's add another table for doctors. Just enter PHP artisan make :model doctor-m command in terminal. Now we have doctor model. And also we have doctors table migration file. Let's use this users table structure to the doctor table. Then change a little bit by adding hospital column on this table. For doctor model, also make sure this import all classes of user model. Change this to doctor. And add hospital column to this fiable array. Let's create doctor controller by entering PHP artisan make :controller doctor/doctor controller in terminal. Now, doctor controller has been created. Back to web PHP file and import this controller on it. Now we are going to add doctor prefix group. As you see, we specify guard name on this auth and guest middlewares. Let's add some root views for doctor. Then create this views blade files. Let's design doctor login page layout by using Bootstrap classes. This doctor login form will have email and password input fields. Then design doctor register page. This doctor register form will have name, email, hospital, password and confirm password input fields. Whoops, we forgot to define doctor guard in config auth PHP. Let's do it. Now let's define doctor guard now. Let's refresh this page. As you can see, we have now doctor login page and also register page. Because we have defined doctor guard and used in our routes, we have to update authenticate PHP and redirect if authenticated PHP files. On this we check if URL has doctor prefix, then return doctor login root. Also on this, we check if guard is doctor, and then redirect him or her to the doctor home root. Let's continue. Now add post root for creating new doctor. Then use this name root to the doctor register form action attribute. Don't forget to add CSRF to this form. Now, let's add this create method in UserController class. Remember to import doctor model and auth facade here on the top of this class. Let's validate inputs. Name must be required. Email must be required, be in email format and unique in doctors table. Hospital must be required. Password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters. Confirm password must be required, with minimum of 5 characters, maximum of 30 characters and same to the password value. Here we use old function to maintain last entered value. Let's add error spans to doctor register form for displaying validation errors under each input field. Let's test. As you can see, we have validation errors under each input field. Let's continue. If validation success, let's create new doctor into doctors table. If new doctor inserted successfully into doctors table, we redirected this to doctor register page with success message. Otherwise display fail message. In order to show success and fail message on register form, we have to add the following if conditions. Let's test. Whoops, we have an error. This means we don't migrate our doctors migration file, no doctors table founded in our database. As you can see, we have updated this migration file but not migrated. Let's run php artisan migrate command in terminal. As you can see, we have not doctors table inside our database. Let's try registering new doctor again. As you can see, we have this success message that show us the new doctor has been inserted successfully. If we look into doctors table, we see that inserted doctor. Let's register another one. If we use the doctor email that exists in doctors table, we see this message that show us that email is already been taken. Now we have second doctor in table. Let's make doctor login functionality now. Back to web PHP file and add post route for checking login doctor. Let's use this route name to the doctor login form action attribute. Don't forget to add CSRF to this form. Now add check method inside doctor controller class. Validate inputs first. Email must be in email format and exists in doctors table. Password must be required, with minimum of 5 and maximum of 30 characters. Now add errors spans that will display validation errors under each input field. Let's test. As you can see, we have validation errors displayed under each input field. If we enter the email not exists in doctors table, we see this message that tell us the selected email is invalid. Let's change this error message. Let's test. As you can see, the error message has been changed. Let's enter registered email. No error displayed. Now, let's continue. If validation success, let's check entered email and password. As you can see, we specify guard name here. If this credentials matches to the data in doctor's table, redirect this user to doctor home page. Otherwise redirect him or her to the doctor login page with error message. Let's add if condition on doctor login page to display error message if login process failed. Let's test. If we enter exists doctor email and wrong password, we have this error message that show us there is incorrect credentials. Let's enter correct credentials. As you can see, we redirected to doctor home page, but we have an error. I made a mistake of writing wrong guard name. Let's show you what I mean. On this middleware root group, I wrote 2 colons, remove 1. If we refresh this page, we see that we are now on doctor home page. Let's design this page by using Bootstrap classes. Add table to display logged doctor details. As you see, we specify guard name here. As you can see, we have logged doctor details displayed in table. Let's add logout link here. Back to web PHP file and add post root for logout inside this group. Let's add this logout method to UserController. Here we also specify guard name. Now add logout anchor tag here. Let's test. If we click on logout link, we redirected to index page. If we try to access doctor home page, we redirected low doctor login page because we are not logged in. Let's log in now. Now we are on doctor home page. If we try to go back by using browser back button, we back to login page, which is not good. How to prevent going back to login or register page when we are already logged in by using browser back button. Just add prevent back history to both these two middleware groups. Let's test. Log out now. If we try to go back by using this back button, we still on this home page because we already logged in. Let's log out now. If we try to go back by using this browser button, we redirected to Doctor login page instead of going to Doctor home page because we logged out. Friends, our multi-guards authentication is completely done. Let's review all users. If we try to access normal user home page, we redirected to normal user login page. If we try to access admin home page, we redirected to admin login page. And if we try to access Doctor home page, we redirected to Doctor login page. Let's log in as Doctor. Now we are on Doctor home page. If we try to access to the normal user home page, we redirected to normal user login page. Also, if we try to access admin home page, we redirected to admin login page. Let's log out now. Then log in as normal user. Now we logged in as normal user. If we try to access Doctor home page, we redirected to Doctor login page. Also, if we try to access admin home page, we redirected to admin login page. Let's log out now. Log in as admin. Now we are on admin home page. If we try to access normal user home page, we redirected to normal user login page. And also, if we try to access to Doctor home page, we redirected to Doctor login page. Friends, this how you can make multi-guards authentication in Laravel 8. You can add all routes that can be accessible by only logged users inside root group with auth middleware like this. If you are new on this channel, please subscribe in order to get notified when new video uploaded on this channel. Thanks for watching this video.